G'day guys, Sim here and welcome to another league racing video. And this time we're back with AFR Tier 2 Season 5 again, and this time around Silverstone. Now, I'm not going to lie, once again this wasn't exactly the greatest race for me, but hopefully you stick around for the whole video and see what actually went down, because it does actually have some pretty interesting implications on the championship standings actually. But yeah, heading out now for our first lap, I believe. We did have a little bit of lag. Unfortunately, my internet was messing up a little bit. Oh no, sorry. Our second lap. We spun on our first one. Would have been a 24/7 wasn't a terrible banker lap. I knew I was capable of a low 24, like 24.4, 24.3 potentially. But, you know, it wasn't a terrible banker. But now on to our next lap. You can see down a little bit in the first sector so far, but we get a really good entry into this corner here, turn 3, and into turn 4 as well. Gain a little bit of time there. Don't really nail the exit there, so we're only just up at the moment. But you know, it's not looking too bad at this stage. And I believe at the point we are up by just under half a tenth, I believe. Losing a little bit of time through here. I'm sorry, I can't remember all the corner names. I'm pretty terrible at that. But then leading on to the old pit straight and then into Cops. We're still up on our time. Nearing on a tenth up now, I believe, potentially. So, yeah, not a terrible lap. But coming through Maggots and Beckett's now, really hitting these apexes pretty much perfectly now. And getting a really good exit out of there, gaining plenty of time, and up to a tenth and a half up on our previous lap. Now just trying to focus on nailing the run through Stowe. Missed the apex a little bit, really needed to be up on that curb, but you know, we managed to get through without invalidating and braking hard into the final couple of corners here now. Down to 4th, up short shifting up to 5th, getting a decent exit up nearly 2.5 tenths, I believe, and setting a 24.5. So not terrible, good enough for second at that point. And as we head up to the standings now, managed 3rd position. Trin actually getting pole, so Trin really starting to show some more pace in qualifying, which is really good for the Constructors' Championship. So really looking forward to see how he keeps improving through the rest of the season, especially in race pace. That's definitely been improving so far. But getting ready for the start now, sort of trying to be a bit relaxed, a little bit stressed that my internet was going to cut out. I was actually on mobile data, so yeah, moved into a new place and didn't have internet just yet, so a little bit stressed that it was going to drop out and I was going to either kill someone or just like completely drop out of the race entirely. But getting ready now for 5 red lights. Like I said, a little bit stressed, and I jumped the start. Oh, you're fucking the joking. Biggest mistake I have ever probably made in my league racing career so far. I jumped the start, and you can hear T-Mac, race engineer, tier 1 driver, make an absolute... Dude, my fucking thing slipped. I'm trying to make excuses there. There's nothing really to excuse though. I know, you know, in the heat of the moment you try and make an excuse for it. I think I said, you know, my paddle on my wheel slipped, which definitely didn't happen, but yeah, you know, no way to excuse about that. But anyway, we're going to make the most of what we can in these first 3 laps before we have to serve this drive-through. So, losing a few positions there off the start, Pondon managing to get me. Still complaining about my shifter, even though that didn't actually happen. But yeah, trying to get on the back of Pondon here. Keeper, who had a glitched start, was disconnected off the start and got the same start that the spectators got, the hosts of the lobby. Really starting to fall back through the field now, sort of hampering our runs a little bit. I was a little bit worried about him there, so I ran a little bit wide, but haven't quite cleared him yet because of that. Thankfully, managed to get him around the outside through turns 3 and 4 here onto the Wellington Straight. And yeah, thankfully just managed to get that move done. But now lost a bit of time to Pondon and Trin, which isn't really ideal. You can hear me still talking about seeing what I can do in these first few laps before I serve this drive-through. You can see we're closing in on Trin and Pondon quite quickly through this section here. So our race pace is quite good, which makes it even more frustrating that I got that jump start. So really driving on a bit of anger at the moment, and just frustration in myself. But yeah, right on the back of Trin here through Cops. He has to lift off a bit, I believe. Something with his setup. He was a little bit oversteery through there. And we were right on the back of him here. I think he was suggesting that I just pit now so he didn't hold me up, but I wanted to gain as much track position as I could the next few laps. So we use a bit of overtake here, rich fuel mix, and go for the inside into Stowe. Clearing pretty easily, actually, still getting a little bit of slipstream from Pondon in front. Now we're just looking to gain as much time as we can in this final lap before we serve this drive-through. So really closing in on Pondon here into the braking zone, trying to get as good a run out of this final corner here as we possibly can. Setting a decent lap there, could have been a lot better, but you can see the pace we have over Pondon here. He's doing quite well to be in second place at this stage, I'll give him that. But you know, our pace is quite a bit better. We go quite a bit deeper into turn 3 here. I know we've been on for pretty much an entire lap now, but we're gonna stick on here because in the next couple of corners we're gonna be battling Pondon quite hard here. So we get DRS, overtake, rich fuel mix, and heading into the end of the Wellington Straight here. We go around the outside, trying to get the inside for the next corner, and we manage to do it. He holds around the outside on us there as well, but we get good enough traction on the exit of the corner to just get past him, and had to use a little bit of overtake to make sure we kept the move done. But at the end of that lap, 2 purple sectors were forced into the pits, so yeah, unfortunate. Probably the worst track on the entire calendar to get any sort of drive through, as Stars sets the fastest lap of the race. Yeah, really. This is the worst track to fucking. You can hear me. I'm absolutely fuming with myself. Like, I let my panic from my internet potentially disconnecting. I let it get to me before the start. I'm still claiming I wasn't nervous and that it was my clutch slipping, not my own stress causing me to do it myself. But it was 100% my own mistake. Nothing went wrong with my wheel or anything. I just, straight up made the mistake. And you probably hear me keep making the excuse a few more times. You know, you make excuses for yourself. But very next lap after the lap we pitted, fastest lap there. And same again on the next lap, purple middle sector. We only improved by 0.02 of a second, but really showing that our pace is really good through this race. I'm just trying to prove a point, and close in as much as we possibly can. A couple of people pitting onto the mediums a little bit earlier than I would have thought they would on lap 8. So moving us up to 14th and then 12th on the following lap. Closing in on Bully in front. I believe there was an incident that occurred with him a little bit earlier. I don't know exactly what. I think a little bit of desync or something, so he's a little bit further back than he should be. But on the back of him through Maggots and Beckett's now. Those medium tyres, they still don't really have the advantage over the softs just yet at this stage in the race, so using our DRS and a little bit of overtake to get him around the outside here. And really a relatively easy move there, but still a long way to go before we get points. You can see CK80 up there, about 4 seconds up the road, I believe, so long way to go. But lap 10, we get a virtual safety car, and at this point, it'll potentially stay out long enough for us to at least get into the pits and save ourselves a tiny bit of time. The Delta's sort of chilling for us a bit, but unfortunately, we weren't very lucky with this virtual safety car. If you look on the map just ahead, you'll see one of the cars in front try and overtake the other under virtual safety car. One of them was going slow, and unfortunately, they got stuck in a loop, and we're both trying to get past each other. So really unfortunate, a really bad bug that that Codemasters really need to fix, because you'd go slightly in front. You'll see we've lost 7 seconds here sitting behind these two. Obviously no fault of theirs. I think it was just a misunderstanding with who went past the other person. But yeah, that bug, I know it seems bad, but yeah, another bug sort of ruining me a bit 2 rounds in a row. At that point, I probably could have recovered still quite a bit more. So not ideal, but we'll take it, I guess. But heading into the pits, jumping on the mediums to go to the end of the race on lap 11. You'll see Stars also pretty much caught onto the back of us under that little bit of a mess as well. So not ideal at all. But now coming out of the pits, I think about 12 seconds behind Jacob Meister, about 3 or 4 seconds behind, or a bit more behind King J. 5 seconds behind. So yeah, quite a long way back, and well and truly out of the points at this stage. A couple of cars hadn't pitted yet. They started on mediums, but at this stage of the race, it was really not looking good. And on lap 12, it's also getting really, really dark as well, looking like it's going to rain. So everything's sort of not working out particularly well for this race at all. I know a lot of it's self-inflicted, but I really wasn't enjoying this race. Just really concerned about my internet the entire time, and just feeling sorry for myself, to be honest. Like, I don't know. But anyway, we got the move done on Keeper as he just came out of the pits, having to leave the space a little bit because he held it around our outside, but managed to get the traction on exit here, heading onto the old pit straight, and a fairly easy move there. But now chasing down King J, we catch him a few laps later. He's about half a second in front of us going through Maggots and Beckett's. He gets a really poor run through Beckett's here into Chapel, and opens the door for us really onto the hanger straight here into Stowe, and we pretty much clear him before we're halfway down the straight. So relatively easy move again, but still a long way outside the points. You can see 7 seconds to the cars in front, and that's only to 11th place as we get another warning. This stage I'm already on a couple of seconds of penalties as well, so not looking good for us at all. But on lap 19, you can see we're on lap 11. A couple of cars had spun around and pit and stuff. You can see little drops of rain now as well. So, yeah, Combat deciding to pit onto the intermediate tyres, I believe. So we'll see how that works out for him. But you can see we're really starting to close into the cars of Saxa and Booley in front again. So you remember we passed Booley under the last stint before, so that just shows how much time we lost under that virtual safety car. That, you know, we ended up back behind Booley again. So not ideal, but you'll see over these next few laps, we still haven't managed to get past on lap 21. So stuck in a bit of a DRS train, didn't have much ERS left, had a little bit of fuel, but not really as much as I would have liked to really be able to push past to get past these couple of people, but you know, we just had to make do with what we had, and yeah, thankfully DRS at this point still enabled, so able to get some moves done with the assistance of that. But you'll see we've got a shocking exit onto the Wellington straight there, and we're way back. As we come through these next few corners here now, Bully, oh sorry, that must be in a few laps time, but yeah, we're just stuck behind them still. Stopped raining anywhere around the track for me. Just commenting on the rain, it hasn't stopped. It's been raining everywhere around the track. I think Trin was mentioning it was only happening on certain parts of the track for him, so I don't know what was going on there, but you can see, checking for penalties, I can't remember what the penalties were for these guys. I think they were pretty similar to what I had at the time. I know I do still have more penalties to get, but yeah. In a tricky situation here that there's a bit of a DRS train there and we've got nothing really to push past with, so sort of a little bit frustrating at this point. We're just sort of sticking behind, but on the next lap, end of the Wellington straight, we're putting pressure on the back of Bully again. He goes for a bit of a wider line to try and cut back in, but unfortunately he cuts in too much, catches the curb, manages to save it, so props to him for catching the car there, but yeah, just unfortunately lost it and allowed us to get through, and now have an opportunity on Saxa in the next few laps as we get another time penalty. 12 seconds of penalties, so really, yeah, pretty much a shocker in terms of penalties for me this race. Drive through on 12 seconds of corner cutting penalties. I hadn't done any race prac really, so that could have been part of it, but yeah, not great. But you'll see, we're going after Saxa now, but unfortunately that lack of ERS and fuel is really hampering us a bit, and we just couldn't quite get close enough. He gets a bit of a poor exit there, so those softs might be getting a bit worn, and we go for a dive into the second last corner, but couldn't quite get up far enough, and just forced to give him a little tap in the rear and get him to get a bit of a move on. But yeah, next lap again, coming through Maggots and Beckett's, once again, getting a really good run through here. Not really close enough yet, but he runs wide, losing a bit of grip, I think, in the damp conditions, and that gives us the opportunity to get past now. So using all of our ERS, the last of what we have, and pretty much all our fuel, I think we've got 0.2 laps of fuel left, managing to get that move done on lap 23. And that was pretty much it. On the final lap in a second, yeah, that was the best we could manage, was up to P6. Still potentially the question of penalties, so as we come up to the line now, knowing we have 12 seconds of penalties, we have to hope that that gap back to Skins is enough. And thankfully, it was actually enough. He got a penalty on the last sector of the last lap, which was enough to keep us in that position. So, not a great race. Really it could have been a lot better if I didn't jumpstart, obviously. But in the end, I'm just glad I managed to recover up to 6th place. In terms of the championship, Stars closed in a lot with this one. He is going to miss a lot of races, but yeah, we're now really close on points again, and yeah, this championship's going to go down to the wire no matter what. I know I'll have to miss a few races with study as well, but yeah, that's about it. Thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did enjoy it enough, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, click the bell if you don't want to miss any more videos, get notified and whatever. And if you want to watch me over on Twitch, I am doing charity streams for the month of November, so head over to twitch.tv/simdogger_44 and chuck us a follow and feel free to join in on everything that's happening there. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you around sometime.